Hello class, my name is Brian, and I am taking this course from a small beach town community called Imperial Beach, California, which is just south of San Diego on the border really of Tijuana, Mexico. So basically our neighborhood is um, one of those border town communities between Mexico and the United States. So on a regular basis, we see Border Patrol agents and helicopters flying over, and we also are home to a pretty big military population as far as the Navy, Marines goes. There's also a bunch of military helicopters and activities that kind of take place on a regular basis. So kind of a diverse background community. My church tradition, currently my wife and I are plugged into a church that is a Baptist community church. They don't affiliate themselves technically with the Baptist organization while carrying their tradition, so it's kind of a loose-based Baptist connection. Um, Probably has to do with the appeal for the community kind of being non-denominational and I wouldn't say less offensive, but that's the first word that comes to mind. As far as a background church tradition, my background predominantly has to do with a non-church background. I came to know the Lord later on in my life at about 30 years old. So as I came into the awareness of what is called the church tradition, it came from a scholarly point of view. So looking at the different denominations and how they came about, the Reformation and all that has to deal with. So the church tradition I come from is predominantly scholarly, and then just trying to assess what I read in scriptures and then what I see in history and what I see in the current context. My current understanding is my vocation is that of a student, just kind of embracing this in all of its nuances and challenges with open arms. There's a lot of scripture to understand, I think, accurately before one can make disciples, and I think there's some basic principles that we can grasp early on, but as far as not leading people astray and accurately handling the word of truth, I feel that I'm being called to really take my time and focus in on understanding scripture in its entirety, as much as that's humanly possible anyway. So there's aspects where just kind of camping out on some sort of mysterious revelation and letting that be. I've also found a kind of a niche. I would say that I'm kind of in step with the Spirit with a faith-based fitness ministry that I'm part of. Uh, we combine CrossFit style workouts with Bible studies that I lead. So it kind of gives me a platform to, I wouldn't call it a sermon per se, as more of a small group Bible study. So we get together every couple weeks for a community workout, and then as well as engaging the scriptures together as a community. The ethical questions that I have that interest me that are current topics one of them would be politics and Christianity and how those interrelate with one another. Um, the other one would probably be abortion. It's kind of a hot button topic and one I kind of feel passionate about. So we've got abortion, politics, and then the third one would be probably the cultural diversity of the church and ethically speaking how they are commingling with one another. So obviously we know the church history background as far as segregation, and that's kind of, you know, I feel like I guess I'm getting at is like how can we take the next step? So kind of currently, contextually speaking, how can we take the next step of finding some sort of unity and diversity in our in the church body? Something interesting about me, I mentioned earlier about the CrossFit, faith-based CrossFit workouts that I kind of take part in. So when I was in the military, that kind of started me on the CrossFit workout path or regiment, and I've kind of just fell in love with that kind of style of workouts. I've been working out myself for about 20 years in various different disciplines, from hiking, cycling, all kinds of stuff through Colorado, and then the military kind of opened my eyes to CrossFit. So that's what's, I would say, kind of unique about me, is I still am very much involved with CrossFit workouts, and kind of just seeking a balance of glorifying the body that God gave us, as well as um, kind of understanding that body image can be one of those social ego, pride, faults within the community. So kind of wrestling with all that. That's me in a nutshell in this first 5 minutes. So looking forward to this class and getting deeper within these topics and growing in faith with each and every one of you. God bless.